Hi guys, welcome to this mid-month book review video where I talk about the books that I am currently reading. I have read and the books that are on my TBR for the rest of the month, the tentative books at least, and both my cat and my dog want to be in this video, but unfortunately they have not read any books. So they have nothing to contribute. Maybe next time, maybe by the end of January, they will read something. But until then, just ignore any noises that they both make, please, and any construction noises that might be coming from above. It's really difficult to even hear yourself think right now, especially with all the restrictions that are going on outside regarding the whole panorama situation. So thank God I have books to get me through it. So the books that I have read until now, it's just 2 books, but I'm really glad I read those because both of them, they were not disappointing. I mean, they were not the best, but okay. So the first book is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This is a magical realism and sort of a general fiction. It also has elements of thriller and kind of a horror, I would say, but not the typical kind of horror. The mystery element in it is often fatal and very unsettling. So the main thing about this book, I would say, is that it is very, very unsettling. And I had a really great time reading it, as you can tell by all the annotations done in it. So I think blue is for, I really need to start making an index, but blue is for when I just love the writing, and green, I would say green and the yellow are for the really unsettling parts in it. So I have also done a lot of annotating inside the book and highlighted it. So I had a great time. The back of the book, that's important. It says, Piranesi lives in the house with a capital H. Perhaps he always has. Then messages begin to appear, scratched out in chalk on the pavements. There is someone new in the house. But who are they and what do they want? Long lost texts must be found, secrets must be uncovered. The world that Piranesi thought he knew is becoming strange and dangerous. The beauty of the house is immeasurable, the kindness infinite. So the last sentence is kind of a recurring thing that is said. Piranesi says it a lot to reaffirm his beliefs in the house. It's almost religious. So it's a very interesting equation. This main guy, we don't have a lot of other main characters, but the main guy is, you know what, I don't want to ruin it. It's, the rating I gave for it is 4.3. Yeah, 4.3. I would say 4.3. So do recommend, and I am very grateful that this was the first book of the year and not the second book that I read, When the Reckoning Comes. So this is more of a kind of socio-economic, socio-cultural setup between the black and white community. It's not set in the modern times, neither is it set in the past. It's a bit when segregation was much more dominant, I would say. So as an Indian, it gave me a lot of perspective into the matter. this is a horror. The genre is horror and I would say murder mystery. Yeah, murder mystery. It's paranormal horror, and basically it's set in and out of the present day, as in the present day in the book, and the past when the characters were younger. So you have three main characters. There's also an element of romance in it, which is spicy. I like that quite a lot. And towards the end, it was more like a fever dream. I could see a lot of parallels between how The Shining ended, the book, not the movie. Not the movie. The book was different for those who have read it. And for those who have not read it, don't worry about it. So this book gets more like a 3 point something from my side, because I just wasn't that invested in the characters, even though it was interesting to read for sure. And I really liked the descriptions. I liked the emotions that were portrayed. As I said, the romance part was really good. The horror was, well, not that scary, but there were definitely times when it was creepy. The plot is what I don't agree with, as in I can't really get on board with. It was it just kind of fell off towards the end of the book. You know, it was like it was building towards something and the payoff just wasn't that great. So that is where the book kind of lost its momentum for me, but all in all, it was a good read. And the book that I am reading right now is Frederick Forsyth's The Negotiator. So I really like Frederick Forsyth every once in a while. I like his books. I've read quite a few of his books. They're all like this action, thriller, espionage, conspiracy, political, foreign affairs kind of drama. So yeah, it kind of takes your mind off of the genre that you're already reading. It's kind of like reading a movie. Yeah, pretty much. It's like reading a movie, and but obviously it's really chunky. I mean, this particular book is 509 pages. It's not like reading a movie at all. Well, it's like reading the screenplay of the movie. Yeah, sure. So in classic Frederick Forsyth style, you have two countries, the good, or maybe not the villain, I would say not good, but not the villain country as usual is America, and on the other side we have communist regimes, socialist regimes, and they are painted as, well, not the good guys again, but more towards the villain side of things, I guess. And you have a document that is kind of derailing the status quo, and that's where the whole action thriller starts off. So I'm not a lot into this book, and it's going to take quite some time to finish, because his writings are always you really have to get into it. You have to get into the inertia. It's not kind of like you can just keep reading it and you'll get the hang of things. No, it takes some concentration, which brings me to the book that I am reading beside that, which is a non-fic, and it's really cute. It is it's the llama philosophy. It's the alpaca philosophy. I keep getting confused. So you have these series where you have the little book of, this is alpaca philosophy, then you have sloth philosophy, and then the other book was otter philosophy, right? So the Alpaca Philosophy is about living a calmer, wiser, fuzzier way of life. It's really cute. It has these little quizzes inside, these little snippets and quotes, and it's just an overall all really wholesome, cute book. And I'm really enjoying reading it. And as you can see, it's kind of a downtime kind of book, you know. It's not as stimulating as this, but it's really freaking adorable. So there's that. So these are the books that I am currently reading and have read for the month. This is the mid-month check-in. Now for the rest of the month, the TBR that I am thinking of is, well, focused around one genre, unless I get sick of my share of the genre and then I branch out. But let's see. The books that I have in this genre are, the genre is horror, because last year in 2021 I didn't read quite as much horror as I wanted to. So this year I'm really digging into it. The books that I have are The Death of Jane Lawrence. I mean, look at the cover, isn't it beautiful? I mean, just look at it. The strings and the balancing, it's just, it's a hardcover. I don't usually get hardcovers. I'm not the biggest fan of hardcovers. They're difficult to read. I mean, I always feel guilty about cracking open the spine, and you have the cover, and then you have the actual book, which is, you know, it's just, I don't know, a little too fancy for me, if that makes sense. So yeah, but I'm really excited about this book, and it's, well, I don't exactly know what it is about. I think I know it is gothic, and there is a marriage of convenience kind of a theme, and, well, Jane Lawrence is married to her new husband, and then she discovers weird things in the family house, I think. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure about that part. I don't know about the rest of it. So it's more like a supernatural kind of a gothic plot, or rather vibes. So yeah, I can't wait to read it. I picked it up because it was on Goodreads Choice Award, the horror category on 2020. It was in the list of 2020, and I think horror, delving into it, is long overdue for me. I love horror, but I mostly just watch movies, and I think it's time to pay more attention to the books. So there we go. And the second book, which is also a hardcover, and which was also on the list, the Goodreads Choice Award list, is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This is kind of about two women. One of them has moved into the small town, and she befriends this, what's her name? Well, she befriends this other woman who is mysterious yet really, really fun, and the rest of the town seems to be very afraid of her. So that is what the book is about. It's a witchy horror, even though I'm not sure if it is going to be that scary based on what I've heard about it, but, well, I am more than ready to dive into it. So maybe I will pick this up after I read The Death of Jane Lawrence. Also, another horror that I have, it's much less chunky, but actually hardcovers always look chunkier than they actually are, right? So, but still, it's a pretty thin book. I think it has like 200 something pages. Yeah. It's called In the Night Wood. And again, look at the cover. It's so symmetrical and pretty. It's very, it reminds me of, actually, no, it's not exactly, but okay, so when I was younger, I was reading this Russian folklore, and you know, the whole legend of Baba Yaga, who is this mythical creature, who is a witch. She's basically a witch, and yeah, she has been alive for many centuries, and she's wicked, but at the same time she can fulfill people's wishes in exchange for something. So she had a house which was standing on chicken legs, I think. Yeah, that was weird, but that was what the illustration was, and somehow this reminds me of it, the symmetry. Anyway, so this is another, I wouldn't say horror, but I think it's more unsettling. And the back cover, you know what, I'll find out with you. I'm not exactly sure what the book is about, but I picked it up because I love the concept of it. So the back cover. Charles Hayden has been fascinated by a strange Victorian fairy tale, In the Night Wood, since he was a child. When his wife Erin, a descendant of the author, inherits the ancestor's house, the couple decides to make it their home. Since mourning the recent death of their daughter, they leave America behind, seeking a new beginning in the English countryside. But Hollow House, filled with secrets and surrounded by ancient oak forest, is a place where the past seems very much alive. Ooh. Isolated among the trees, Charles and Erin begin to feel themselves haunted by echoes of the stories in the house's library, by sightings of their daughter and something else as old and dark as the forest around them. Wow. You know what? I think instead of The Death of Jane Lawrence, I might just pick this up. Because I'm like way too intrigued. Yeah. Aren't you? So this was my projected TBR for the month of January, and I'll update you guys on what I do end up reading. On Kindle, I'm going to be also reading this horror novel, probably, by Stephen Graham Jones, The Only Good Indians. And this is about entity that's a mysterious entity that's pursuing a group of Native Americans who have done something that goes against their culture. So this entity is pursuing them and hell-bent on punishing them. So it's a lot like the movie The Ritual or The Ruins, if you guys are familiar with that. By the way, The Ritual and The Ruins are also books, and they're totally on my list now. I had no idea. I love the movies, so the books would be even better, I guess. Let's see. And I also have a few other novels that are on my Kindle TBR that are my go-to if I get sick of horror, which I'm going to mention in the next vlog if I ever do get into them. So yeah, that's the. So guys, that will be all for my January TBR, and if you have found my little corner of the internet and made it so far, please like, share and subscribe, and leave below a little black heart emoji. I love you so much, and I'll see you soon.